Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tea with Crema. My name is Chris. I'll be your host today, and I'm joined by my best friend, Emma.
Good morning.
We have a very special episode in store today. As you know, it is February, the month of love for all the people in the world. And as tradition dictates on the Tea with Crema, it's very important that we talk about love in the month of February. And so on our love episode this year, again, to dodge out of this episode, I definitely found people to do it. And so I'm super excited to bring on the amazing married couple that you have heard on the Tea with Crema before, Brian and Shamaine.
Woo-hoo! Hey, y'all.
But before we begin with our annual love episode, it's very important that we have our tea check. So, Emma, what tea did you bring today?
I brought this very cute tea. You guys can see it a little bit. It has a bear on it. So I was like, oh, it has to be good. And then I opened it and it's a sachet and it's dissolvable and it's not good. So a little sad about that. It's a little sweeter than I wanted it to be, but I feel like it would be good if I was sick and needed to try something like that. What are you drinking today, Chris?
Today, I have a tea from August Uncommon Teas called Avalon. Now, August Uncommon Tea is a very interesting brand, in my opinion, just because I feel like they aim really high and then sometimes, they don't always deliver. And so today's tea is supposed to be a tea for a luxurious afternoon, an oolong tea offering the rich aroma of baked apples, burnt caramel, and petrichor. Now, I ain't never heard of petrichor. I had to look it up.
I was about to ask, what is petrichor?
So apparently petrichor is the word that describes the earthy scent produced when rain falls on dry soil.
Oh.
Ask me if I smell any dirt when this tea was brewing.
Does it taste like dirt?
It honestly doesn't really taste like anything.
Huh.
It just tastes like a green tea, an oolong tea. I don't know what they were going for here. So again, another August Uncommon tea that I felt like came in strong and then delivered weak. So I don't know. Shamaine, what tea did you bring today?
Today, I am drinking a vanilla Pomoro tea. And that is by Harney and Sons Fine Teas. It has black tea and vanilla flavor.
Yum. How does it taste?
Harney and Sons has some good flavors.
It's actually pretty good. I can taste the vanilla in there. It's decaf because I've already had my caffeine for today. So it's actually really good. It's perfect.
I'm telling you, when you keep it simple, that's usually when the teas come in.
Yes.
Right.
Black tea, vanilla, and it works.
Dang.
Brian, what did you bring to the episode today?
I don't drink tea, so I have a very basic Coke Zero.
Coke Zero for the win.
Made with just Coke flavoring and 0 calories and 0 sugar.
It's definitely the secret recipe. They did they redid their recipe like a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I'm definitely a fan of the new one. I liked it before, but the new recipe, I'm a fan of as well.
Really? I've never been a fan of the diet and the zeros. I don't know. I just love a good regular Coke. I will spend my calories on a regular Coke.
No, ma'am.
If the new recipe is good, then
It is.
maybe I'll try it.
Yes, you should. And even the diet Coke is good now.
Oh, really?
Seriously. Yeah, I didn't used to be a fan at all of any diet, anything.
Right.
But now the Coke Zero and the Diet Coke, they're both winning me over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check it out then. There we go.
Get you one.
Let's get that sponsorship at Coca-Cola. We are putting
Okay.
everyone on.
Nah, for real. Well, again, we have our annual love episode. It's also low-key our annual Shamaine/Brian episode, because as you know, they on the Tea with Crema, they're regular guests, so we're super excited to have you both here. I'm super excited to, again, be able to not have to talk about my love life no more. So I'm super grateful and appreciative. And it also, just gives us a different perspective, because the last 3 love episodes have very much been from essentially the single perspective of looking for love. And so I know that right now, y'all would not describe yourselves as single. Y'all are happily married.
Like married.
And I'm like super excited. You know, Emma's newlywed. That's a whole thing. But like,
we got some veterans on here.
Double digit year married.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one.
gosh. So we're super excited just to explore how you get from, you know, single to happily married double digit numbers out here, because literally couple goals.
Right. And I think it's like important to note that even when you both have been on the episode separately, you all have talked about each other. So that's also why we were like, wait, I like need to bring them on, because I love how they talk about each other when the other's not even in a part of the conversation. So like I can't wait to see what it looks like when they're together. You know? So I was just
hopefully
like,
we don't get on here and fight.
That's what the magic of editing's for.
Just make it look good.
So it's gonna be great.
As we jump in, if y'all could just reintroduce yourself to the Tea with Crema audience, that would be great.
All right, so I'm Brian, and this is my lovely wife, Shamaine. We've been married for almost 14 years. Well, not almost, but this year we'll make 14 years in August.
Your relationship is a freshman in high school. That is crazy. Wait, so
14
years married or 14 years together?
Like the number is not very far off. So in August, we'll be married 14 years. In September, we'll be together 15 years.
Wow. Y'all were really like, when you know, you know.
When you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is super important. So I'm really curious about like jumping into, because if those years are really, really close, it really kind of begs the question of like, did you feel like it was like love at first sight? Like y'all knew very early on, or did it take some exploring? Like kind of getting into how did that happen? Because those years, some people it's like, we've been together for 16 years and then we got married.
No.
We're newlyweds. But we know some people on the Tea with Crema that have taken a little while to tie the knot.
Woo,
yeah,
that's a long
looking
time.
At you, Isaac.
No way.
Just kidding.
Your relationship started in like middle school, high school. That's different.
Yeah.
Again,
So,
that's true.
Ours was different. But I think it was love at first sight for one of us. I'm not saying any names because, again, I don't want to be fighting on here. But but even still, I think love evolves over the years anyway. So I think even if you take love at first sight out, like I still think our love has grown and continues to grow.
Well, he says that because I don't know who he's speaking of, him or me, but he did say I love you first, by the way. But I will say that speaking things into existence is a real thing, because when I saw him, like with my coworkers, I would be like, oh, here come my husband, there come my husband. And I was just playing at that point, but it wasn't like a love at first sight type thing, but it was like, okay, I know what I want, and eventually, you know, because I wasn't going to initiate anything, but it was something that told me in that moment, which is weird.
I'm going to say I was on the same boat. Like I used to do that to Isaac literally all the time. Like he would walk by, I was like, there goes, I would literally say that, like, there goes my husband. And people are like, you're nuts. Like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, it's okay. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know my name yet, but we're getting married.
Right.
So speaking it into existence, that is the key.
That is the key.
That is the TLDR version of this episode. If you want somebody, you have to manifest it.
Hey, that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm definitely hearing is like, you know, pretty early on.
You do. It's like I hear people all the time who say it's like, I just knew this was the one, or I knew he or she was the one. Mm-hmm. And I never really understood what that meant. But like I was in college when we met. I was in like my second year of college. I was working, and I wasn't like, I've never really dated as an adult because I worked and I went to school. So I was a cashier at Walmart, and he was a vendor through Dr. Pepper. And so he would come in and fill the coolers and stuff. And at that point I was like, you know what? I'm just about to worry about my school. And I was really starting to get into faith a little bit. And I was like, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. He didn't say he who finds a husband finds a good thing. So I was like, I'm not about to be out here looking. I'm not about to be looking. He's going to find me. So whenever he finds me, I'll be here. I'll be waiting. And I'm going to focus on school. And he sure did walk right through Walmart, and he found me.
Well, technically, I found her and then she left. Or I'm sorry, not left. She went to an entirely different schedule. So it was like I saw her, then she disappeared. So then I saw her again, and she over here, he who finds a wife, and then she was still like mean mugging people, not really approachable. So it was like he who finds a wife, but a wife didn't want to be found at that time. I tell you that because
she just wanted to live her best life. Okay,
like,
he who finds a wife.
but it was like the deadest stares you could ever see.
It was a different semester, so I had morning classes in that second semester, so I had to work at night. So when he was seeing me during the day, I had later classes.
Right, and of course you're happy when you're not having to go to class and then have to do all of the things.
Well, no, that was just my face.
That was exactly. You ever looked at someone from like, say for instance, if you are at a party with a friend, and you ever looked at a friend from across the room when you're ready to go? Like, and you look, and you just have like this look, and it's just blank, unapproachable. Like you really ready to go. Like she was not having anything. Even when I first spoke to her, she wasn't having it.
And then let me remind you, it was Walmart. I was a cashier at Walmart. Can you imagine what was going through my head at that time?
This wasn't at Disneyland. She didn't have to provide the customer service. She needed in and out. I
wasn't looking for great customer service, but if she's sitting here saying he who finds a wife, she was looking at me, there go my husband.
He ain't go the way. He ain't leave.
That part, right? Because like if she was so unapproachable.
It was still pretty. The RBF was still attractive, but it was very evident. Like she wasn't having it.
Well, I don't know if it was one of his pickup lines or not, but he was like, you need to smile more. Like, no.
Buy your drink and get out of my line.
Exactly. You buying something, you ready? Let me check you out.
Yeah. And here we are, 100 drinks later, here we are.
But she really
it worked.
You need to just move on, sir. Like we don't have time for this small talk.
Okay, I got customers waiting. You ready?
There was nobody waiting. It was early in the morning. There was nobody behind me. Get out of here.
Walmart is notorious for not putting enough cashiers out. Okay, Shamaine was just trying to make sure that people were moving
cashiers. This was in 09. Walmart had cashiers in 09. You go to Walmart now, it's ghost town up front. But no, they had cashiers then.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. Have you guys ever gone back to like where you met and were like, oh my gosh, like this is where we met? Like have you taken the kids there or anything like that to be like, this is where mommy and daddy met?
No. Have we taken the kids over there?
We didn't take them there, but we have gone back and we explored. And then we went to a Cowboys game and it's right next to the Cowboys stadium.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh, that's where me and daddy met over there at that Walmart. And they were like, for real?
Yeah.
That's where y'all met?
Y'all are somewhere in the break room. There's probably a picture of y'all, like couple goals.
So when it works, it works.
True.
So that's the important part. So, okay, wait. Does anyone know what like the 15-year anniversary thing, like one of them is like wood and then like gold, silver. What is 15?
Year one is paper.
Yes. And I was intrigued by that because I was reading Gone Girl and they talked about it on their anniversary every year. And so I was like, I don't know anything about this. Let me look it up. But I don't know what 15 is.
Crystal.
Ooh, you hear that?
You hear that?
Wait, so are those supposed to be like things that you're supposed to buy? Like the gift is supposed to be like made of that? Or is it just like symbology of the length of the relationship?
Can we just go like look at it?
Can we
go find some crystal and look at it?
I think it's a little bit of both, actually. Right. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, like I think also people gift other people that. So like as her friends, right? So the Tea with Karma needs to gift Bremaine crystal is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Yeah.
I hope your crystal is also okay if it's glass. Crystal is expensive.
You know what? I would be okay with one of those, people getting their spirits right. Those kind of crystals.
Oh.
The ones you got to recharge in the full moonlight. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one. Okay.
Yeah.
Gonna be
taking notes right now.
No.
Oh, okay.
There'll be no burning of the sage.
Year one is paper, and there's like gold, platinum. I think glass is actually. I think glass is actually one of them too.
After 14 years, I know that you have plenty of memories, so many memories. But if we had to look back and get some highlights, what are some of your favorite memories as we're approaching year 14 anniversary this year?
I think for me, it would be like the struggles that we had, because I feel like if we could make it through that, then we can make it through anything. And of course, being married this long, it hasn't always been easy, and it's still not easy. And I think just those hard times together and making it through that, not only the two of us, but with our kids, and seeing how far we've come. We always reminisce all the time, and we talk about just how do we do that? Like,
Seriously.
What do we do to be able to overcome those obstacles financially, spiritually, emotionally, individually, together? It's just been a roller coaster. And doing that together, I think, has been the best memory that I have.
I could piggyback on that. The trials and everything of a marriage can definitely give you memories, whether they be good or bad, but you take the bitter with the sweet either way. But fondest memory for me, and I mean, it's when Shamaine told me she was pregnant with Bryce. So that was probably one of the best memories I have, because that was during the time we had kind of just moved in with each other. And so, of course, yes, it was a surprise, but it was still special to me. So I still remember like her telling me that, and it was her. I can see the worry in her face, and of course, me being surprised, but also worried. So I mean, that was, again, it was still an up and down like situation. So I mean, getting through that, and just that was a good memory.
Yeah, I love that. Right. And I think a lot of people don't talk about, the rough patches. They don't talk about like, how do you move past that? Like, I think a lot of people, when they talk about relationships, they kind of want to highlight just the good, right? Or on Facebook and on social media, all we see is the good and when we're most in love. But, I'm kind of nosy. So I'm always like, y'all can't always be in love.
For real though.
Right, and so I'm wondering though, like, for those who are out there, especially, as a newlywed, I don't even think I'm newlywed anymore. I'm not considered that anymore. But, like, how do you get through the rough patches? Like, how do you work together? And like, what works for y'all to like get through those times together?
I think honestly, we haven't figured it out yet. We got married really young, and so we didn't have the tools. We still don't have all the tools to even have the best conversations sometimes. We're both still growing emotionally in our maturity level and being able to communicate with each other. Like, I feel like that's gotten better over the years, just getting to know each other, and how I may receive something may not be received the same way for him. And so just being cognizant of that with the delivery, I feel like we are starting to get a better understanding of that now. And we've been married for 14 years. So I think with growth individually and as a unit, you just have to find what works best for you in that season, because we're all evolving and we're not the same person that we were a year or two ago. And just constantly being open to change within yourself and with your partner, and being able to communicate that and receive what they're saying, even if it doesn't feel like it's coming from a good space, but just knowing that it is. And maybe my delivery wasn't the best, but I don't have any bad intentions with what I'm trying to say. I just don't have a better way to put it right now. And I think that's probably been the biggest struggle for us ultimately over the years. And I will say we are growing. It's not the greatest, but we are still working through it, building our toolbox and making sure that we can fully be who we are together and as an individual.
I think she said everything that needed to be said. I mean, everyone in a relationship is going to argue. So, I mean, we don't have the best communication skills all the time. But as she said, things are said, but, they're not said out of malice or disrespect, or, no one's intending to hurt the other person. But it's just communication. And I mean, that comes along with, as Shamaine said, just maturing within yourself and within the relationship too. So, I mean, it's just, she said everything, and I totally agree with it. We don't always hit the nail right on the head, but eventually, we come back and whatever's been said, we either apologize and we move on, or we find a medium ground and we continue to grow.
I have a logistical question. I guess the thing that really stands out is like, I know that there are a lot of different ways to like learn about yourself and learn about the other person, but I'm just curious about like, because you can't just like grow out of nowhere. So then like what have y'all used or what do you use to kind of help guide that growth? So I think that's one of those things that I'm just like, it's hard to, in the same sense that like you don't know what you don't know. And so like kind of where have y'all turned historically to help with that development, both like individually and as a unit?
I don't think for me personally, I've turned to any specific avenues, but I just know what she has asked of me in the past to either not necessarily change things, but things that wasn't necessarily, not that she didn't like it or didn't approve of it, but things that she had concerns about. So it was either get on the bus or get off. Not her words, but in theory, so it's not that I turned anywhere to figure it out, but things that your partner tells you that either needs to change or feel like it's not beneficial to the relationship. And if you're not willing to adapt or change, then it's almost like, are you really willing to be in this long term? So for me, you try to grow individually off of what your partner asks of you.
And I would agree to that too, because I have early on noticed that letting a lot of outside factors in could damage your relationship even more. So if it's not a book or somebody that I really don't have to talk to, then I usually don't. We like to keep it within our marriage. And if it's something that we need to work on, maybe it's just like self-reflecting, like, how could this have changed? What could I have done better? And then just having that discussion. I think he had a really good example growing up as to what a healthy marriage looks like with his parents. They've been married, 30 plus years? 40 years.
I just hit 40.
Wow.
And so he had a lot of good examples to look towards or to look from. And I, on the other hand, I didn't. My mom and her husband, they were like in a toxic relationship. And so I feel like I brought that toxic energy into our marriage, and just having to figure out what works for us, because what works for his parents won't necessarily work for us. And what I saw in that toxic relationship growing up, I already know that that's not going to work in my marriage. But I do know that a lot of what I saw growing up, I did bring that. And I think that's what caused us a lot of hardship growing to where we are now. I took a lot of influence from that. I never saw what a healthy relationship looked like. And luckily, he stuck it out because it was bad. And I'm just grateful that we have had those hard conversations, and he has loved me through it all. And it's just been, refreshing and a relief to see that we are in a healthy space and our kids are being able to see what a husband should do for his wife. And it's just so many different things that we have to consider now that we are a larger family. It's not just us.
Empty nest, though, coming soon.
Coming soon. Says you. Y'all are still young.
It's growing, though. They're getting older. Empty nest coming soon. And there will be no more babies. There will be no more babies. So empty nest coming soon. But no, Shamaine's right. Like I had a healthy, I guess, marriage to look at. But to piggyback on her saying she saw toxic, relationship. But for me, I never saw my parents argue. So when we argued, it was all new to me too. So it was like, maybe this is what you're supposed to do. So she says that, luckily he stayed. And I'm not saying, I would have left otherwise. But at the same time, I was like, okay, cool. I guess this is what happens. Because, my parents never let us see them argue. I was like, well, maybe this is what they did behind closed doors. And I just never knew. But, yeah, so it's just funny, though. Because, we can look back and we can laugh about it. And it's definitely some growing pains. But it's been worth it. I can't even lie. It's been worth it.
So I'm definitely hearing a recurring theme of keep people out your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Because even if they mean well, they just don't know.
They don't.
Situation.
Nobody knows the situation better than the two people who are in it. And so I think that's the best advice I can give to any married couple or any couple who's looking to get married. Like, if you can't figure it out together with the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, how do you
party
think?
Can't help you.
Yeah.
Because even still, no two situations are the same anyway. Even if you're asking for advice of something that you've been in, situation is still not the same.
Right. Because people are different. People as individuals, people in relationships, like it's all different, right? Like the way that they're going to act and whatnot. So going back now, let's pretend like we're back in, before y'all were married. And did y'all think, like, how do you think that y'all 14 years ago would think about the way that you are now? Does that make sense? Does that question make sense? Like, how would you guys, like, if you were to have some kind of magic seeing eye and were able to look at it, would y'all, like, does the vision match, or would you think, like, do you think 14 years ago yourself would have been like, no, that's not us. Like, who is that?
Like, essentially, would past you look at present you and be like, okay, yeah, I see this. Or like, dang, we're doing big things. Or like, dang, that's what happened. I know it's not the last one, but perspectives.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't, because when we met, we were young and she was a lot younger than me. And I still say today, like, if her apartment hadn't gotten broken into for us to actually move in with each other, I don't know if all of those factors didn't happen, where we'd be today. Because there was some domino effects that happened for us to actually start living together. I had never lived with anyone. She had never lived with anyone. So it was all, we both hit a few firsts together. So I don't think that if some of those dominoes hadn't fallen, I couldn't see where we are now. I don't think back then I could see that. So
I can, honestly, because like I've always felt like I'm going to be married. I'm going to have these kids. But I mean, to say like where we are right now, I wouldn't think that we would have established as much that we have.
Sure.
I think that having kids kind of pushed us a little bit harder. I've been driven and ambitious my whole life. So I feel that regardless, like, I think we would be here, if not even farther than where we are now. But I'm happy with what we've built, how much we've accomplished together. Not a lot of people can say that they've been married for 14 years. A lot of people that we would hang around with in the past, they're not even married anymore. And it's hard work, yeah. But if that's what you want and you want to work hard for it, then you're going to put in the work.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to break up. It's easy to go get a divorce. Nobody is keeping you from going and making that happen. And you have to actively make the decision every day that you're going to stay. And so I feel like with us doing that for this long, I can't say that I see us any differently than I would have pictured us 10 or even 5 years ago.
I just love looking from the past and being like, how does past me think of present me? Which then also always has me thinking of like, what do I see for myself in the future? I think like as much as I think about it, I'm still very much like Brian, and the future is always a surprise. Because I'm like, whatever happens, happens. Mm-hmm. And it's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. And it honestly sounds like in this case, some people call it serendipity. Some people call it fate. Like the things happen the way that they were meant to, the way they were supposed to happen.
Exactly. Because I mean, I didn't have any, I guess, idea to ask Shamaine to move in with me or anything like that. So it was just things happen the way they happen. Of course, I'm not upset about it, but it's just everything fell into place. And yeah, we've gone through our ups and downs, but yeah, we've stuck it out. And as Shamaine said, it's easy to quit.
He who finds a wife. That's what it was. He who finds a wife.
I have no negativity to say about that. You're right. It's true. No rebuttal.
No.
In the Bible, it's the word.
A word. So Shamaine, you kind of talked on it a little bit. You said, definitely one big advice is like no external factors. Do y'all have any other advice for people looking to have, a successful partnership in marriage? Like, I would definitely say that to you, like, just talking to both of you, seeing you both interact as a family as well. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's like what a successful marriage and partnership look like. Y'all are always hyping each other up whenever you come on the episodes, talking about how supportive each other is. So, I would say that you guys are definitely like a couple that I think of and I'm like, that is a healthy, stable couple. Like, that is a good relationship. And that's how partners should talk about each other. But do y'all have any advice for people trying to get to that level?
I think communication is really a big factor. Being open to just your partner's everything, their ideas, their
perspectives.
Yeah. compromise is a major one. I don't know. Patience is a really good one.
Is huge because I mean some partner is further along than the other in maturity and openness and everything, or most things. So you're never going to be at the same level at the same time. So patience is, because I know for a fact Shamaine has shown me a lot of patience. So that goes without saying. And of course you need love.
Of course. That's part of the equation, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
It's okay. See, I'm ready. I'm learning. I can do this.
Chris is learning love. That's his name right now. Chris learns love, you know? So
oh, I see that.
You're learning it. He's taking all the notes.
And Emma loves love.
I love love. I really do. I love love. Like, I love people being in love. Like, there's no other better feeling than love, you know? So, like, it doesn't always have to be just, like, love from your partner. Just, like, love in general. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I think the thing that, like, stands out the most to me is, like, again, some of your favorite memories are the ones that, like, came from struggle. Not because you enjoyed the struggle.
Yeah.
But because of where you ended up at the end of it.
Right.
And so I think going into that mindset of just, like, there are going to be hard times, whether you're with another person or not. There are just going to be hard times. But I think that just, like, really stands out to me of just, like, but then when you make it out of the other side together, stronger together, just great things to look forward to.
It really is. And I mean,
I was just like, I'm ready.
Yes, jump right in. Go for it.
It's going to be great. I'm so excited. You know, just have one good fight and then come out the end of it and be like, wow, learned a lot. That was actually kind of cathartic.
There's never one good fight.
Well, you know, like the first one.
Oh, okay.
You know, after that fight, you're definitely not going to have just one. But, you know, after that first one, looking back and being like, wow, that was rough, but okay, made it through. It worked out.
Yeah.
Definitely good things to look forward to. So I am curious. I don't know if we, like, truly, really talked about our past episodes on love.
Okay.
As you know, I was dodging. Like, you know, I definitely dodged all the questions on the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I dodged a little less on the second one. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, in what you have seen so far, are there any things that, like, that really stood out to you on those past episodes that you're like, okay, I listened to them, and Chris, because ultimately we do these episodes, Emma's purpose, our purpose, the purpose, is because of the fact that, like, the goal is for me to be in a healthy relationship in the future, present, future, that thing. Like, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
And so after kind of listening, seeing all of the responses, all of the dodging, is there anything specifically that you're like, okay, Chris, this year, if you're going to be serious about dating, this is what we would like to, like, share, impart, or make sure that you're ready for, or a question that you need to ask yourself or that other person?
I think you need to talk about the big things. Like, yeah, you want to get to know the person, but I mean, if you are just really trying to cross them out or keep going, like, you got to talk about the major things like finances, religion, what your credit score look like.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to be out here doing major things, like, I need to know that this is a partnership and I'm not going to be the person bringing, you know, all the accolades. I need this to be like 100. Like, it's not a 50-50 thing. Like, I need you to give all that you can, and I'm going to give my all the time. So I think hitting those big things, because ultimately, yeah, you want to get to another person, but if it's going to be a lifelong thing, like, you need to talk about, like, what does your health condition look like? That's some serious stuff that you just want to make sure you talk about early on, because you'll be living with that for the rest of your life. You don't know if somebody has congestive heart failure and, you know, their life insurance is non-existent.
Because they can't get it.
It's just like those major things that people don't talk about until it's too late, or you're already 2 years in and you don't know. So I think those big things are really important to talk about.
Did y'all
we did not
watch. No, I was going to say. Oh, did y'all? I was about to say. My first first question was about to say, wow, that's like first of all, like I can't imagine having that conversation. Yeah, as like a college student, like that would not even have ran through my mind. So
Right.
But I was gonna ask, have y'all watched Love is Blind?
Yes.
Have you seen the newest season?
No, we stopped after the first one.
Okay, good. Yeah, don't watch any further. So in the newest season, there's this one episode where there's a clear partnership where the woman is like, you know, doing her own thing. She has like her money together, all of these things. And she asks her potential partner for his credit score. And she kind of just like, she's like, we are not in the same place. Like, we're the same age and we're not in the same place. So like, let's not continue this relationship. But I think that like those are the things you don't think about, right? Like life insurance. Do you have insurance? That's also a good one too. Like, you know, are you going to be able to, you know, support me if something were to happen to me? Like those are just big questions that, I think as a teenager, I definitely wouldn't have had the foresight to ask, and, you know, has definitely come up as now we're getting older. So yeah, I think that that's maybe one advantage that you have, Chris, is that you can automatically get into the questions.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's just a certain level that, you know, you need to be here. Like, there's a baseline, and I need you to have all these things, and not to be shallow or anything, but this is my life and this is your life, and I'm going to do it with you. Like, I need these certain things done, and I need you to be emotionally intelligent and mature. Like, there are a lot of things that you don't think about early on. I know for me, speaking off of experience, I was young, and so I was just like, oh, he cute. That's it. It's like, okay, let me talk to him. And I mean, that's so like as far as it went. But as I matured, like there are other things that are more important to me. Love grows. Like if we click and your personality is amazing and we can talk and have open conversation and be mature about it, like that's top tier, because a lot of people are not in tune with their emotions and they don't know how to react or respond to certain things. And you want to make sure that you have somebody who is emotionally available and mature and intelligent. And a lot of people don't even think about that. They just
get into a relationship. He's fine. She's fine.
It's just, I don't know.
I mean, all those are pluses, but you got to get to the beyond the surface, though. So
a strong foundation. Right?
Very strong foundation.
These are great questions. Yeah, because I, at this point, still was like, oh, didn't even think to ask some of these things. I'm like, oh, wait, gotta write that down. That has to be one of those questions that we at least talk about, you know, cover. Right. At some point, just bring it up during brunch or something. Just, hey, so by the way, want to drop them credit score numbers or...
And you got to make sure they don't present you with Credit Karma numbers. Like, you need real numbers.
Like, if we wanted to go buy a house tomorrow, would you be approved for?
Right. Yes.
Well, even good credit people today could say no, but it just depends.
That part.
Yeah. Like, and then, like, what are your goals? I don't know. Those are just some good questions I would ask if I were dating.
I do know the goals are an important one. That's definitely come up, but I think very similar, very goal-oriented person. So I'm always like, what are your goals? Do they align with mine? Because
or do they have any at all?
Right.
Important questions, because some people don't.
Right.
Do not. Just showing up. There, you know, some people also don't have a lot of other things that are on my list. A job.
See, no, that's basic.
That's like,
I'm just saying, people be out here.
So far, the foundation was not even to make a foundation. Y'all were on sand. Not even making concrete at that point.
I appreciate it because, it's just one of those, like, and I think it's also, the perspective is a little different because, again, all of y'all started relationships younger. So, like, your entry point is different.
Right.
Whereas, like, a little bit older, we're not having as much opportunity to, like, grow together. Yeah. There are some things that, like, you should probably have in order by now.
Right. Or, like, growing over years, right? Like, I think you can continue to grow even when you're but I think there's, like, certain questions that, like, now, me today in 2024 would ask of a partner, right? And just, like, at a base level, like, oh, that's a red flag. Like, that's not... that relationship can't continue anymore. But
when you're 16 and the question is like, oh, do you live with your parents? The answer is, yes, probably.
Right.
Do you get an allowance? Like, like, do you have something to bring to the table? Like, I think
you're asking someone that question like in your late 20s, early 30s, and it's like, do you live with your parents? And it's yes, and it's like, wait a second now. We got some other questions that we got to ask on the follow up there.
Tell me more about this living situation. Because if it's to save money for your house, like, all for it. If it's because you don't got a job, a little different.
Because, house goals, it's happening.
And the way this market looking, I mean, hey.
It's going to be a while. It's a future goal.
Okay.
The market's better because, the market is inaccessible right now for just about anybody. I was reading articles on it. I was like, okay, not today. But, that's what I'm bringing into the conversation. I know that about myself. I've looked at the market, not today's market.
Yeah. And I feel like as in your situation, I feel like you do have a bit of an advantage. It's like you have a better awareness of what you want. You know who you are. But also the pool is a little murky nowadays. So I don't really know what's out there. So, I mean,
it's a balance, right?
Yeah, it's a balance. So now the pickings are a little rotten.
Different.
Yeah.
Not rotten. I was gonna say but different.
Also, like, I think it'd be so different. Like, I have no other baseline for relationships other than Isaac's, but like your prefrontal cortex is like fully developed now. Like, you would hope that the dating pool would be a little bit more emotionally intelligent. But from some of the stories that Chris has told, I'm like, what? Like, they're not even coming with like a base level, just like anything.
That's scary.
In a future episode, we might have to
unpack
reflect on some of the experiences that I've had, but it's been a journey for sure. I will say that much. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to all of like the fun, exciting things. And honestly, I know it sounds a little, but like even just the way you've said it, like I am also looking forward to going through those struggles.
Yeah.
With someone though. Because of the fact that like, even in like my life as a individual, seeing how certain struggles have helped shape the future into what it is and what it will be, understanding and recognizing the value of that, and then to go through that with another person. Definitely, I think, like you said, it helps make the relationship stronger.
I was going to say, it just helps to have just like another person, like knowing someone's in your corner, right? So like just having that and going through, whether it's struggles in the relationship or struggles just like out of the relationship and, through work or whatnot, just coming home and having that and like knowing that, wait, I have this other person who I can count on to be on my team. And even when you're going through the struggles together, like, ooh, right now we're not on the same team and, I want to like score a touchdown in the other, like, I just want to like not be on your team right now and I'm going to be a water boy instead. But at the end of the day, right, you're like, okay, fine, I guess we can be on the same team.
And I was basically going to say exactly the same thing you said, just knowing that you have somebody who is going to love you regardless of, the situation. If you're having a bad day or if you are just waking up and he tells you look beautiful and you don't, but he still tells you that you do.
And it's still in your eyeballs, like, what?
But it's not about what you feel about yourself. It's about what the other person is saying. That's,
just having that person, like, that's your person.
Yeah. I'm excited for you, Chris.
Me too.
It's great. 2024 might be the year. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm really convinced that it's now. That's about the credit score, but real true questions. And I'm definitely convinced that, like, pretty early on, like there's some strong inclinations even in the beginning parts. So like you kind of know if you're asking questions, it might actually be a no. But
yeah,
2024 might be the year. We're gonna see. Yay. Well, with that means it is time for our
rapid fire question. So in true fashion, I always go first and then I'll toss it over to y'all next. Okay, so my question is a quick one, maybe. It might be quick. What is your favorite love song? Oh, I felt like we didn't even ask y'all. Do y'all have a song?
No.
Perfect. Okay, then that's fine. So what is your favorite love song?
I don't know.
Emma, I don't listen to many love songs, so I don't.
What?
Maybe Jodeci, "Forever My Lady." I'm calling it that.
Oh, there we go.
I do love that song. Yeah.
Lately I've been a contemporary Christian type of girl.
That's
So,
a love. Is that not a love in its own? That's also
I
a
mean,
love
it really is. But going back to my R&B days, I'm
Uh-oh.
gonna say it had to be something by Jagged Edge. Anything, probably.
Yes.
Want to
Meet
So,
me
get
at the
married?
yeah.
altar in your white
Yes.
dress.
Meet me at the
Yes.
altar. Yeah.
Okay, Chris.
I recently decided that I really like the song Golden Hour by Jake. I don't know. The song like really stood out to me.
The piano one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I really like that song. But I think it's one of those things that like I'll commit to a song when like I've committed to a relationship kind of thing. Because right now I'm just like, that song's good. So like had you asked me like a year or two ago, it would have been a different song. So for me, it's just whatever recent love song I've really enjoyed. So we'll see what it ends up being like the sticking song. But as of right now, it's Golden Hour by Jake. I just really like the way it sounds and just the things. It's a good song.
I remember, even Chris like texted me when he sent it to me and he goes, once someone writes a song like this about me, like I'll know they're the one. Because it's honestly just singing praises to the partner, you know, it's just like, it's a very sweet song, all of those things. Yeah, I would say, I was like thinking about it and I was like, oh, actually, I think mine goes in ebbs and flows. I think my most recent favorite like love song is either Best Part by her or One Man Band by Old Dominion. So
I like that one, the One Man Band one.
Right.
Yes.
He's talking about like, I don't want to be a one man band. I don't want to be Rolling Stone alone.
Uh-huh. That's a good one. Okay.
Okay, Shamaine, what's your question?
I have two, but let's see. I'm going to go with, because we're on the topic of marriage and love, I'm going to say, what are your top 2 love languages and what do you think you are most compatible with?
Like for the other person?
With the other person.
Oh.
Like, what do you think are the most compatible love languages?
Oh, interesting. So I know mine is gifts. And words of affirmation. So I always tell my husband, you know, like, give me a gift and tell me I'm pretty and I'm fine. And, yes. And my husband's is definitely acts of service. And I think those work really well together in terms of like, to me, like a gift to me is like making dinner. And to him, like the act of service of like making the dinner is like how he shows love and like, you know, doing those small things. So I feel like those two are really compatible. But I think on the flip side, I don't think gifts is very compatible with acts of service. Because like I'd be like, here's this really nice gift. And he's like, okay.
Right.
Thank you. Like an avocado. Thanks.
Not an avocado.
You know, so it's like very So I think in terms of like acts of service to someone who's a gift lover, I think those are compatible. But a gift person to an acts of service, not compatible.
Yes, I agree with that. Okay.
Chris, what do you think?
I am a quality time person, and I think for me, the compatibility is really good with another quality time and acts of service. And it might just be like me personally, but gift giving is not as compatible. Again, because of the fact that, you know, on the quality time, it just feels like you're just giving me this thing as opposed to like, I don't care about the object. I care about the person. And so sometimes it like, that's definitely been like a point of minor tension. I think even between like Emma and I'm just like, it's a minor thing, but it's definitely come up before. It's just like, I just get really stressed around the holidays because I'm like, I don't do gift giving very well. And I don't receive gifts very well either. It's the quality time, acts of service, those kinds of things. And so for me, I would imagine that's my kind of compatibility chart as of right now.
Yeah. What about you?
So I'm a physical touch, and I think quality time to me is compatible because I don't think gifts and acts of service, I guess, go well with that. Because of course, you can always. Some people try to rope quality time in with physical touch, if that makes sense. But I think those two are compatible. But I do know that I try to give gifts, and Shamaine isn't the best gift receiver either. I know she likes quality time, and I don't, as you mentioned, Chris, I don't give gifts to like get out of quality time, but I just know that wouldn't be compatible. She's not a gift receiver, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
You didn't know that was a test, but you passed it.
You did.
I know she doesn't receive gifts. I can give her anything, and it's just like, oh, like you said, eyes like, oh, an avocado, like, oh, it's the same.
Yeah, I'm not a big gift receiver. Like, I like to give gifts, but I think over the years, my languages have reordered. I used to be a quality time, physical touch, but I think physical touch, now that I'm getting older, I don't like to be touched. So I think quality time and quality time have to be like, and if it's not your number one, it has to be at least number two, because I do like to spend, that quality time, whether even if it's just like us being in the same space. We don't even have to really be doing anything. Just having your presence is really a big thing for me. And I think that gift giving and acts of service can go depending on which way, like you said, Emma. So those two could work in a sense, but you just have to know also your partner and know what they want and what their languages are. Although, like I said, physical touch is really going down on my list. I know he likes it. So I'm like every now and again putting my foot over there on his leg or something.
Just to compromise,
I'm like, okay, let me touch him a little bit here and there.
She's like, all you get today is a big toe, okay? And that's all I can give you. I cannot give you any more than that, friend.
And then I get hot. I don't know. I'm getting older.
That's me.
And so I'm
all
just
the
getting
time.
so hot.
Just like, I can't. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know. Like, Isaac's, yeah, definitely, I think touch is on his too. And I'm just like, I cannot. Like, so there's some days where I'll just like, okay, I'll cuddle with you and I'll like grin and bear it. But at the same time, I'm like, you are just a heater.
I know. And then I'm like sweating. And then I feel him like rubbing my back. And he's like, ooh, babe, you are sweating. You are sweating.
And you're like, you did this to us. You made
Yeah.
this. Like, you made me this way. Oh, that's funny.
So, yeah.
Brian, what's your question today?
So I guess, Chris, it's kind of like a two-part question because, we're in relationships. So it will be future for you. So what do you look forward to? Or for Chris, what do you feel like you look forward to when coming home to your partner?
Low-key, Isaac and I are gossip girls.
Okay.
So we'll just come home and like there's some days where I just really do need to like, decompress and things, but we'll come home and he'll bring me the chisme from his work. I'll bring him the chisme from my work. We'll just like, laugh about like the interactions that we've had with kids during the day. But sometimes that's like the thing I look forward to. I'm like, so what does so-and-so say about this? And he said, oh my gosh, did they solve out that problem? And I was like, no, they didn't. Like,
Yeah.
But it's just like maybe it's just the debriefing of the day that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about y'all? What is one thing that y'all look forward to after a long day of work?
I think it's just him being here. I feel like when he's here, I'm automatically in a good mood. Like if he's not here, I'm like mad. Like where he at? Like I need him here. And not to even say much because I don't talk about work often unless it's just something really pressing that I need to get off my chest. But I try not to talk about work. I just look forward to seeing him and kissing him as soon as we get, close to each other, because that's something that we do when we leave, when we get home, we kiss. And I think that's the biggest thing I look forward to.
It's going to sound really cheesy, but that is my answer.
Oh my goodness.
No, when I come home, it could be a long day and it's just like I'm coming home to a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it's like, regardless of whatever happened out there during the day.
All the snakes that you had to battle. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, snakes. You try to leave as much as you can out beyond home. But I mean, of course, you still have things that you bring home. You want to, as you said, debrief, right? So, but yeah, just her being here, it just, I look forward to that. And it's just knowing that I'm in a place where it's safety, Chris. So future wise, what do you feel like would be the most important thing to come home to your partner?
I think very similar to kind of what all of you are saying. But the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is just that sense of like wanting to go home to that person.
Mm-hmm.
Like at present, I'm like, man, I'm ready to leave work because I'm ready to leave work. But having that sense of like, I'm ready to leave work because I'm ready to leave work. And because I know when I get home, I'm going to be with this person that I really want to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm ready to be back around that person.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the thing that I'm really looking forward to, of just like, okay, cool. I am like piecing out of work, or even if doing stuff on the weekends or just whatever, but also just knowing that like, okay, cool. I've like done this thing and now I'm about to go home and have a great time with this person. And not because we're going to do something fancy. Again, a quality time person. So we might just be watching a show. We might just be like sitting there. I'm reading a book and they're even in the living room watching a show. But just the fact that like we're both in that same space, like that. That's because, I think Shamaine and I are on the same wavelength right now. Cause like I am also reading books frequently. And so I just imagine that like if I'm with someone who is not, cause they might not be into books. And so sometimes it's okay to just, maybe I want to watch a show and like they want to read a book. Like sometimes you're just, like you've already said, sometimes you're just not on the exact same wavelength.
Like
but sharing that space,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Coming home to that person. Like, that's the thing. It's just being
giving
like,
them your big toe, like sometimes that's a win.
That's all it is. Okay. Like that's the win, the small victory that I'm looking forward to.
Okay. Wow. I love it.
So my question is, I'll keep it generally relationship thematic. What is something that your partner can always count on you for?
Who's going first?
I know. I was like, I like how we're all just. I have to.
Yeah, we're like thinking about it. Like,
you can go first, Brian. It seems like you're ready.
Oh no, I was just asking. But no, I will. I think she can count on me for dependability and stability.
And I think he can count on me. I feel like it's cliche, but I think anything, like really, like you call or text me and you need me to come help you home because you just got in a wreck. I'm going to leave and I'm going to be there. You need me to go off on somebody. Okay, I'll be there. You need me for anything. Like I'm there, like I'm his person. So whatever he needs, I'm going to drop and I'm going to make sure that I meet his needs. So ride or die.
Yes.
Oh, we were just giving like simple answers. So
she said everything.
all the things. Whatever you need, I'm there.
Yeah. So, me too.
Yeah. Same. Retweet.
Ditto.
There was that part where you're like, if you need me to go off on somebody, like that'll be me.
I know she will.
There's this like tweet that was going viral for a little bit, and it was like, how do calm husbands have like the most fiery like wives, right? And so I was like laughing because I definitely think that's my husband. Like I think that's Isaac and I. But the reply to that tweet was like, well, who's gonna tell? It was from a man. It was like, well, who's gonna tell them that I asked for mashed potatoes and not French fries?
Yeah, because he'll be complaining about something. I'm like, okay, you want to send it back? Like,
right, that's me.
I'm like,
but then you gotta wait, and it's no.
Like it'll come in, and I'm like, that's not what you ordered. And he's like, babe, it's fine. And I'm like, he wanted mashed potatoes, not the French fries. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And they'll like take it back, and he's like, I said it was fine. But
that's him. But I think more so that it's not the confrontation. It's the I'm ready to eat, so I'm going to eat whatever.
Yes. So Isaac can always count on me to send back the food when it's incorrectly ordered. That is me. I am okay to make a ruckus in terms of that.
Make a ruckus.
Yep. But yeah, I agree with everything. Yeah. How can you even beat what Shamaine said? I think the same thing, right? No matter what you need. I think that's what my husband had on me.
I'll be there.
Do not edit that.
No, that's going to be actually the opening.
Oh my God.
The theme for today's episode is I'll be there. Chris, what can your partner depend on you for?
A good meal. I know how to cook.
Yes. Very important.
That's my that's the rapid fire part. Yes, Shamaine gave a wonderful answer.
Yeah.
Everything. But okay, you know what I'm really bringing to the table? I know how to cook. Okay, so we're going to eat good.
Okay.
Also, you're not sending it back to the kitchen because I was the chef.
I made what I made. You eat what I made.
Okay. Well, I am super, super appreciative. Thank y'all so much. Had a blast, a wonderful time. Have learned a lot. We'll be asking some very important questions for all of these future suitors. Or we'll see, we got to get right to the meat of it much earlier.
Yeah, because time's ticking.
Time's a ticking.
Forever and always. So you got to be ready to enter real quick, fast, and in a hurry. So is there any last things that you would like to share before we wrap up the episodes? Anything you'd like to plug?
Brian owns Wilson's Lawn Care, and he will be back operating in the latter part of March. So you can find him on Facebook at Wilson's Lawn Care.
The Lawn Dawn.
Lawn
22.
Dawn.
Lawn Dawn 22.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And that is one thing you can depend on Shamaine to do is support her fans.
I
definitely does.
Well, again, we appreciate y'all so, so, so much. Looking forward to all of the amazing feedback. And with that, Emma, where can people find the podcast?
You can find our podcast on Instagram and Facebook at The Tea with Crema. If you'd like to send us a cup of tea, you can also Venmo us at The Tea with Crema. You can also stream all of our past episodes and all of our new episodes on your favorite streaming websites. We hope to see you next time. Bye!